Hello, welcome back to Medium with a Mic. I'm your host, Kari, bringing you another dose of spiritual wisdom mixed with a healthy serving of cosmic common sense. Today, we're looking at something that's been quietly running the show behind the scenes of your entire existence: universal laws. Think of them as the spiritual operating system of reality. Except unlike your computer's operating system, these actually work without constantly needing updates. Now, before you start picturing some cosmic courthouse with a stern judge and flowing robes, let me set the record straight. These aren't punitive laws designed to trip you up. They're more like the user manual for being human that we somehow forgot to read when we incarnated. Oops. Let's start with the law of divine oneness. Here's the mind bending truth that mystics have known for millennia: everything in the universe is connected through an invisible web of energy and consciousness. The law of divine oneness reveals that we're not separate beings having individual experiences. We're all facets of one infinite consciousness experiencing itself through countless perspectives. Think of it like this: imagine the universe as a vast ocean, and each of us is a wave. We might look different, move in different directions, and have unique personalities, but we're all made of the same water. When you hurt another person, you're literally hurting another aspect of yourself. When you send love and compassion into the world, you're loving yourself through different forms. This law explains why empathy feels so natural to some people. They're unconsciously recognizing the oneness beneath the illusion of separation. It's why random acts of kindness make us feel so good. Why we can sense when someone is staring at us from across the room. And why prayer and healing energy can work across vast distances. We're all interconnected threads in the same cosmic tapestry. From a quantum physics perspective, this makes perfect sense. Scientists have discovered that particles can become entangled instantaneously in affecting each other regardless of distance. If consciousness is fundamental to reality, which many leading edge scientists now believe, then our individual consciousness are likely entangled aspects of one universal field of awareness. Here's where spiritual manifestation meets practical magic: the law of inspired action. While many people get stuck in the think positive thoughts and wait approach to manifestation, this law reminds us that the universe also speaks to us through intuitive nudges, synchronicities, and sudden bursts of creative inspiration that require us to actually move our feet. Inspired action feels different from forced action. It's the difference between pushing a boulder uphill and riding a wave. When you're aligned with inspired action, doors open effortlessly. The right people appear at the perfect moment. And what once felt impossible suddenly becomes inevitable. You might get a random urge to take a different route to work and end up meeting your future business partner. Or you feel called to attend an event you normally wouldn't care about and discover your next big opportunity. The key is learning to distinguish between ego driven action, which often feels stressful, forced, and attached to a specific outcome, and soul inspired action, which feels expansive, exciting, and aligned with your highest good. Ego says, I must make this happen. Soul says, I'm being guided to try this interesting thing. Inspired action often shows up as those random ideas that pop into your head, the books that practically fall off the shelf into your hands, the conversations that lead to unexpected opportunities, or the sudden knowing that it's time to make a change. The universe is constantly sending you GPS coordinates for your next step. Your job is to listen and follow the breadcrumbs. Everything is relative, and I don't mean your slightly eccentric Aunt Barbara. The law of relativity teaches us that nothing exists in a vacuum. Everything gains meaning through comparison and context. What seems like a disaster to one person might be a minor inconvenience to another who's been through greater challenges. This law is beautifully liberating once you understand it. That problem that's keeping you up at night, put it in context of the entire universe or even just your own life's journey, and suddenly it might seem less overwhelming. This doesn't minimize your experience. It helps you gain perspective and realize that your current situation is not permanent or absolute. The law of relativity also explains why comparison can be both useful and dangerous. On one hand, it helps us appreciate what we have and recognize opportunities for growth. On the other hand, when we constantly compare our insides to other people's outsides, we create unnecessary suffering. The key is choosing your reference points consciously. Einstein's theory of relativity showed us that even time and space are relative to the observer's perspective. In your spiritual journey, this translates to understanding that your experience of reality is uniquely yours, shaped by your consciousness, beliefs, and point of observation. What's true for you might be different from what's true for someone else, and both can be valid simultaneously. The universe keeps impeccable books, and the law of compensation is its accounting department. The law states that you will always be compensated for your efforts and contributions, though not always in the way or timing you expect. Every action, thought, and intention eventually circles back with appropriate compensation, positive or negative. Think of compensation as the universe's way of maintaining perfect balance and fairness. If you consistently give more than you receive in one area, the universe will find creative ways to compensate you in another. The single parent working multiple jobs to support their children might receive compensation through their child's exceptional achievements or through unexpected help from strangers. The person who volunteers their time helping others might find that doors open effortlessly in their career. This law operates beyond just material compensation. Sometimes you're compensated with wisdom, strength, compassion, or spiritual growth. The person who goes through a difficult divorce might be compensated with a deeper understanding of their own worth and the ability to help others through similar experiences. The entrepreneur who fails multiple times might be compensated with the resilience and knowledge needed for eventual massive success. The shadow side of this law reminds us that negative actions also receive their due compensation. If you consistently take more than you give, create harm, or operate from selfishness, the universe will eventually balance those scales. But this isn't punishment, it's education. The compensation often comes in the form of experiences designed to teach you the lessons you need to learn. The law of gender goes far deeper than the masculine and feminine energies. It's actually one of the most practical laws for understanding how creation works. This law states that everything has both masculine and feminine qualities, and both are necessary for any form of creation or manifestation to occur. In terms of personal energy, your inner masculine represents your ability to take action, set boundaries, make decisions, provide structure, and move forward with determination. It's the part of you that says, I've got this, and makes things happen in the physical world. Your inner feminine represents your ability to receive intuition, creativity, emotional intelligence, and the capacity to nurture ideas into form. It's the part of you that says, I'm open to possibilities and allows things to unfold naturally. Most manifestation failures happen when these energies are out of balance. Too much masculine energy without feminine receptivity leads to forcing, controlling, and burning out while getting nowhere. Too much feminine energy without masculine direction leads to endless dreaming, planning, and someday thinking without ever taking concrete action. The magic happens when you learn to dance between these energies appropriately, using your feminine energy to receive inspiration. Feel into what you truly desire and stay open to unexpected opportunities. Then engage your masculine energy to take inspired action, create structure around your goals, and persist through challenges. In relationships, understanding this law transforms everything. You can honor both the masculine and feminine aspects in yourself and your partner, regardless of gender. Sometimes you need to be in your masculine energy while your partner flows in their feminine, and sometimes you swap roles. The healthiest relationships allow both people to express the full spectrum of their energetic nature. Even in business and creativity, this law applies. The feminine energy conceives the idea, feels into the vision, and stays connected to the why. The masculine energy creates the business plan, takes action, and pushes through obstacles. Neither is more important. They're two halves of the same creative process that make the whole possible. And the granddaddy of them all, the law of attraction. Yes, I know, you've heard this one. Here's the thing most people miss: it's not just about vision boards and positive thinking. The law of attraction responds to your entire energetic signature, your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and even those sneaky subconscious programs running in the background. It's about aligning your thoughts and actions with these principles to foster personal growth and live in harmony. Think of yourself as a radio tower. You're constantly broadcasting a signal, and the universe is like a cosmic DJ picking up your frequency and playing it back to you through your experiences. If you're broadcasting on the I'm broken, tired station, guess what playlist you're getting? Tune into the I'm abundant and energized, and suddenly life starts playing your favorite hits. I bet you recall from past episodes my favorite way to say it: what you think about, you bring about. Key applications include practicing empathy by recognizing interconnectedness or oneness, using positive thoughts to attract desired outcomes, and making conscious choices that lead to desired results. The law of vibration works hand in hand with attraction. Everything in the universe is energy vibrating at different frequencies. Your thoughts have a vibration. Your emotions have a vibration. Even that leftover pizza in your fridge has a vibration, but we're not going to analyze that one too deeply. From a scientific perspective, quantum physics tells us that at the subatomic level, particles exist in multiple states simultaneously until observed. Sound familiar? It's like the universe is a giant probability field, and your consciousness is the observer that collapses those probabilities into your reality. You're literally a reality creating wizard, and your magic wand is your awareness. The law of correspondence, as above, so below, reveals that patterns repeat throughout all levels of existence. The spiral of a galaxy mirrors the spiral of a seashell, mirrors the spiral of your DNA. Your outer world is a perfect reflection of your inner world. Having relationship drama? Check your relationship with yourself. Money issues? Examine your self worth programming. It's all connected, beautifully and sometimes annoyingly so. This may call for some deep shadow work. Then we have the law of polarity, which explains why you can't have light without darkness, joy without sorrow, or Netflix without the inevitable, are you still watching judgment? Everything has an opposite, and these opposites are actually two sides of the same coin. The secret isn't to avoid the negative pole, but to understand that contrast is what gives life its flavor and helps your soul grow. Think of it this way: if everything was easy for us, how deeply could we appreciate it without the hard times? Without the rain, there would be no flowers. The law of rhythm shows us everything flows in cycles. The seasons, the tides, your energy levels, even your spiritual growth. There are times for expansion and times for contraction, times for action and times for rest. Fighting against your natural rhythms is like trying to make the ocean stop having waves, exhausting and ultimately futile. I've covered this in many solstice episodes. One example is winter solstice. Winter is a time for rest. The trees draw their energy to their roots. The crops are harvested. The light wanes. It's time to slow down. Our society is always go, go, go. It's important to stay in the universal flow. The law of cause and effect, or karma, as it's also often called, isn't about cosmic punishment. It's about learning and balance. Every action creates a ripple effect, and those ripples eventually find their way back to you. But here's the empowering part: you can change your future effects by changing your present causes. Your past doesn't define you, your choices right now do. If you're operating at a higher frequency, love, for example, the negative things bounce off of you. When you're flying that love plane, you have no time for a layover in Dramaville. My best advice: tune into love. Realize we are all connected. We are all one. Some who might have hurt you deeply or on their own path that they chose before they came to this human life. Remember, it has absolutely nothing to do with you. When they return to their higher self, they shed their negative traits and take the experiences back with them. You cannot live on the other side with low vibrations. So give love and be love. The law of perpetual transmutation reminds us that energy is always moving and changing. Nothing is permanent, including your current challenges. That difficult situation you're facing, it's already in the process of transforming. Your job is to work with this law by directing your energy towards what you want to create rather than what you want to escape. And be patient. It will happen exactly at the time it's supposed to. Manifest it, dream it. You deserve everything you want in this life. Finally, the law of assumption. The law of assumption is one of the most powerful manifestation principles. The law of assumption states that whatever you assume as true becomes your reality. Unlike the law of attraction, which focuses on attracting what you want, the law of assumption operates on the premise that the way to create anything you desire is simply to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The law operates on a revolutionary concept. Nothing exists outside of your own consciousness, and your entire experience of the world is a symbolic representation of where your consciousness currently stands. This means your external reality is constantly reflecting your internal assumptions back to you. Think of it this way: instead of hoping, wishing, or trying to attract something into your life, you simply assume you already have it. If you feel like you have it, then you have it in consciousness, and that is the only requirement to have anything physically. While the law of attraction asks, how can I attract this? The law of assumption declares, I already am this, or I already have this. It's not about wanting something, it's about inhabiting the state of already being or having what you desire. The magic happens when you assume you are the person you would like to be. Your reasonable mind and outer senses may deny it, but if you persist, you will receive your assumption. For example, instead of I want to be confident, assume I am confident. Instead of I hope to find love, assume I am loved and cherished. Instead of I need more money, assume I am financially abundant. The key is persistence in your assumption, even when your physical senses tell you otherwise. Expecting positive outcomes can show the same facts in a new light. It also gets rid of the barrier of self doubt, allowing you to act with utter confidence in your life. The law of assumption essentially shortcuts the manifestation process by having you embody the end result first, knowing that your external world will inevitably catch up to match your internal assumption. It's manifestation from the inside out, a complete shift in how you relate to your desires and your power. Here's your homework. Start paying attention to these laws in your daily life. Notice how your inner state affects your outer experiences. Observe the rhythms and cycles in your own life. Practice gratitude for both poles of your experiences. They're all teaching you something valuable. Remember, these laws aren't working against you, they're working through you. You're not a victim of universal forces, you're a co creator with them. Once you understand the rules of the game, you can play masterfully. Next week, we're going to be talking about Valentine's Day and twin flames. Until then, keep vibrating high, beautiful souls, and remember, you're more powerful than you know. Keep listening to those whispers of wisdom.